Hi there guys, and welcome back to Naturally Rawsome. I'm Eva, and today we're gonna talk about vitamin B12. Is it necessary to supplement? What is it? Where can we get it? And how important is it for our life? So let's get started and talk about this super important vitamin. So first of all, what is vitamin B12? Vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin. That means that we have to consume it every day because our body doesn't store it, and there's also no danger of toxicity because whatever is consumed that is too much for our body will sweat it either out or get rid of it when we're urinating. Vitamin B12 plays a vital role in the formation of our red blood cells. It is also important for carbohydrate metabolism, for the energy production, for our neurological system, and for homocysteine regulation. But unlike other B vitamins or vitamins, vitamin B12 is not present in any specific fruit or vegetable or plant, and it is made by bacteria. These bacteria sit on, for example, leafy greens, and whenever we consume these leafy greens, our body has the ability to turn these bacteria into vitamin B12 for our body. But here comes the clue. In order for this to function, we need the so-called intrinsic factor. And this is actually produced in our stomach acid. And the problem here is that most of the people don't have enough hydrochloric acid in their stomach to produce this very important factor in order to get their vitamin B12. And there are a few reasons why this happens, meaning why our hydrochloric acid gets reduced and there's not enough. One thing is that if we're taking medications against, for example, heartburn or acid reflux, then these medications actually destroy the hydrochloric acid in our stomach and impair our vitamin B12 absorption. But there are still other factors that can influence the production of vitamin B12 in our stomach. For example, if we consume hot or spicy things like ginger, garlic, onions, or chilies, this has an influence. Or if we take antibiotics, which can also be absorbed if you eat meat and the cow that has produced this meat was given antibiotics, so you're actually eating antibiotics when you're eating meat. Another reason is if you're consuming alcohol, or if you're eating fish that is contaminated with heavy metals, because heavy metals also influence our vitamin B12 absorption. And there are a few more reasons, just to name a few of the important ones. So basically, the number one reason why most of the people don't get their vitamin B12 is because they don't have enough hydrochloric acid in their stomach and they can't build the intrinsic factor which is necessary to absorb this crucial vitamin. And vitamin B12 is actually crucial for human survival. We cannot survive without these non-harmful bacteria. This is a vitamin that we absolutely need in order to survive. So whenever someone is asking you when you're vegan, how do you get your vitamin B12? It's not just a vegan problem that is always stated. Vegans are actually not as prone to vitamin B12 deficiency than meat eaters or normal eaters because they're not consuming as many toxic foods or processed foods that influence the absorption of vitamin B12. Meat eaters are actually much more prone to vitamin B12 deficient, even so meat has vitamin B12. As soon as the meat you're eating is cooked or heated, the vitamin B12 gets destroyed. And another factor is that meat is actually acid forming to your body. And if your body isn't alkaline enough, then your hydrochloric acid gets impaired and thus you're not absorbing the vitamin B12 that would be necessary. So let's talk about the possibilities that there are to find out whether you're deficient or not. There are two different ways to find out whether you're deficient or not. One is by a blood test, and the second one, and the better one, is with a UMMA test. First of all, the blood test. If you're checking your vitamin B12 levels via your blood, then the blood only shows the amount of vitamin B12 that is actually in your blood and flowing around in your system. And this actually doesn't show how much vitamin B12 you're absorbing and if you absorb enough. And if you have a high value, meaning that your levels are high, this actually means that there's too much vitamin B12 in your system and you're not absorbing it. So if your levels are high, this can mean that you're actually deficient. And even if your levels are normal, the blood test doesn't show if you're absorbing enough vitamin B12 or not. So that brings us to the second method, the UMMA test. And this is a test that measures your vitamin B12 levels via another substance. And this is done by taking your urine. And this test is actually much more accurate and shows how much vitamin B12 you're absorbing. Even so, it's not always 100% accurate, but it's even better than checking your vitamin B12 levels with a blood test. So the second test is actually what I would do to check whether I'm deficient or not. And let's say you did the test and you found out, well, I'm deficient. What shall I do now? What supplementations could I take, or what supplementations are available? Well, first of all, there are 4 different forms of vitamin B12. The first one is cyanocobalamin, then there is adenosylcobalamin, methylcobalamin, and hydroxycobalamin. The last one is actually the B12 that is in vitamin B shots, injections. And even so, this is not a bad way to supplement it. It's not necessarily the best way to supplement it, because hydroxycobalamin and cyanocobalamin are the 2 cobalamins that are not absorbed right away by your body, and your body has to transform these forms of vitamin B12 into methylcobalamin, which is actually the only vitamin B12 that your body can absorb and store. However, the most vitamin B12 supplements that you can find in health food stores are actually made with cyanocobalamin. And you can even find this in fortified foods like cereals and milks. The adenosylcobalamin and the methylcobalamin are actually the 2 only active forms that our body can absorb right away. And that's the best way to supplement your vitamin B12s. Our liver stores primarily adenosylcobalamin, and the methylcobalamin actually goes more into our body's cells. So the best way to actually supplement vitamin B12 would be with these two active cofactors of vitamin B12, which is adenosylcobalamin and the methylcobalamin, because these are the two forms that our body can absorb right away. And the best supplementation you can get is if you take oral supplementations that you put right under your tongue, because this brings it right into your blood system, which can transport it into your cells and your organs. And for example, if you're taking pills and they have to pass your stomach and your stomach is already impaired, then you might not be able to absorb the vitamin B12 that is placed into this pill. So currently I'm taking these lozenges, which are made of B12 adenosylcobalamin, but as soon as they're empty, I'll switch to a liquid form, the vegan safe vitamin B12, which is made of adenosylcobalamin and methylcobalamin. And that's actually what I would prefer supplementing. But the most important thing is that you do your research as well, and that you decide for yourself what's important and whether you need to supplement or not. And it's always important to consult your doctor. So don't take my example and what I'm saying. This is just what I do, and I don't recommend anyone taking any specific pills or supplements. Always speak to your doctor or health practitioner before you start supplementing. So long story short, this is it. That's how I supplement my B12 and why I think it's important to supplement with vitamin B12. Took me a long time to find that out. And I hope this video was helpful for you and you enjoyed it. And until next time, remember, keep it light and simple, and as always, naturally Rawsome. See you next time. Oh, and don't forget, if you like this video, give me your thumbs up. And if you haven't already, then subscribe to my channel. It's for free and I share some Rawsome tips and inspirations about the raw vegan lifestyle. And until next time, have a great day and do your research. See you. Bye bye. Oh, and I almost forgot, one of the things that actually impair the vitamin B12 absorption are processed foods. Yes, processed foods with unnatural and natural flavors, MSGs. Doesn't matter if it's natural or unnatural, this actually impairs your vitamin B12 absorption. Now I'm super thirsty and I need something to drink. Cheers! So refreshing. Blueberry, cucumber, apple, mint juice. Can only highly recommend it. Super yummy.